You said a decades long depersonalizing of internalized oppression. So the language helped to kick that off and the education helped to start that in many ways. What's your relationship with that now, unpacking and resisting internalized oppression? What are some of the things that have helped you to
Yeah,
continue on that
that's a great
journey?
question. You know, I'll say this, Rolando. I think is a lifetime. I think it's lifetime of work. And a question that I ask in my coaching practice all the time, because I coach mostly women of color in the nonprofit and philanthropic sector. A question that I ask myself, that I ask them is how much of this is personal? Like, how much of this do you have control over is about you and the way you view the world and the way you interact with your colleagues? And how much of this is structural? And let's begin to
Mm,
unpack the two because so many women of
mhm.
color will come in with, and they will name it like, I have imposter syndrome. I feel like I don't, all these things that we've all heard before. Ask this question. How much of this is sometimes we have anxiety and sometimes we have depression. Sometimes we don't like to speak in big room. Like sometimes there are things that are about us. And many times there are things that are influenced by the system, right? Small system, the organization we work in, big system, capitalism.
Yeah.
And so I think that work is really important to do this work of depersonalizing, right? We're not aiming for
Mhm.
perfection at all, right? But what I'm hoping is that when I work with individuals and with organizations, is that we can begin to ask that question when that feeling comes up that I'm a fraud or I don't belong or what are we doing wrong? Because I think the assumption generally is that, and especially because we're in such an individualized country in the United States, that I have control over
Yes.
everything. I should feel better. I should know. And really, the harm of that for us, and by us, around people, is tenfold, right? Because we're constantly getting told that we are not and we do not. So how can I continue to do that work, right? To depersonalize it, to see that there are things that I have control over and there are things that actually are bigger. And how do I want to interact with the two?
So you're on your own journey of depersonalizing it, and then you're also supporting others through their journeys as well. Such incredible, such an important work. And that kind of help, that kind of coaching and guidance that you're describing, it has a way of taking the weight off and the load off when we discover and we're reminded that, wait a minute, there's a lot of these things that are happening that are not actually influenced by us. But as you said, like it's such an individualistic culture. There's this, we're supposed to be in control of things all the time. And I think it can create this sense of shame in some folks too that turns inward. We're supposed to be in control of things all the time. And then when I don't feel in control, we turn that, the ways we can sometimes turn that inward. And I love what you're doing is you're supporting folks and really, wait a minute, slow down. Let's recognize what is it that is within our control? And then what is it that actually is connected to systems, history, how can we unlearn some of these things? And oh, that sounds so important and so wonderful, and it's such an important service.